I know for myself, a lot of times you go into meetings and people have an agenda, very rational, reasoning oriented. Hey, we do A, then we go to B, then C, and here's the time we're allotting for each one. But I've found the best leaders are people that intentionally go in to create tension, to create a conversation and a little conflict, not out of line, but all of a sudden now they're shaping people's mindsets and their beliefs, and they're bringing in emotions where they need to, because emotions is what usually drives us. Mm-hmm. So Jeff, I love the idea behind Bombora, and I love the intent data. How do you create tension so that people make a decision and move beyond inaction?
I'll say we're still figuring it out, right? As we go through that and some of those pieces, I think kind of building on some of both your points there a little bit. One of the big things first, right? You've got to beat the status quo, goal one, because if you don't beat what they're doing today, it's basically a non-starter. So the question is, once again, be like, I do need to make a change. Why should I make the change with you? Why am I going to place a bet on you? Becomes right that next big thing to go over. One of the big things that brands and companies need to start thinking about is, how do I enable my internal champion? How do I enable that person to go tell that story? Sure, we need an ROI story, but that's not going to be enough anymore. How do we also help them overcome that fear of messing up, right? That fear of like, hey, you know what? I might totally even believe everything you're saying, but my team, me, we're going to screw it up, right? So how do we start to build that confidence with our internal champion inside of that account as we go through that? So a couple ways we approach that, right? We work with that champion on like, what are those key elements as we go through that? We also work on what we call multi-threading in the account. We don't want to leave it up to one internal champion to carry it forward. We want to break out, we call it out and up. We want to get into tangential groups that'll influence this purchase decision and the executives as you go through that, and work them as a whole buying committee, because they're all going to have that same fear of messing up, right? First, we got to get over that status quo, but they're all going to have that same fear. So what do we have to start to help them to do? And those are simple things like, going back to that trust equation, right? Okay, credibility. Let me show you these case studies. Let me talk to these references, et cetera. Reliability. We have a plan. We know how to do this. We're going to do this with you. Let me show you how that plan is set up for your success, how we adapt if things don't go exactly how we think, right? Or even on your side, things don't go the way that you think. And how we're going to walk you through that and then help you grow over time, right? You're not just going to get stuck in this first use case, this first application of it, but it can start to expand across your business. And then it's about building that relationship. I know through the pandemic, none of us went to events and things like that, but it's really interesting. There's just a different connection point when you're hanging out with people. You're building that relationship outside of work. That's important still. You getting in the room, going out for dinners, that kind of stuff still matters as you go through that. And then at the end of the day, too, it's kind of from your brand's perspective, how self-oriented are you? Or are you at that grow at all cost mentality? Or are you at the, hey, if you're going to become a customer, you matter a lot to me. You matter a lot to us, our business. And we're going to invest in you. We're going to invest in your company to make you successful, which goes back to showing them the plan that we have and how we flex with that plan as we go through it. So it's about communicating and then giving the tools to those advocates inside the account to start to go through that. So those are things we're working on. I won't say we have them perfectly dialed in, but that's the mindset that we have.
Hi, Ted Wolf here. I want to thank you for joining us for this Implementors video. The Implementors podcast is presented by Guidewise, where we, along with our vetted member community, recognize that ideas are easy, but implementation is hard. To learn more about getting things done with Guidewise, please visit us at guidewise.io. And to conquer your implementation struggles, please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. Happy implementing.